everyone, tonight we are making moussaka. My handy helper Cornelia is going to help me and I'm going to tell you guys how to make moussaka. That's the recipe. You typically use lamb. We were unable to find ground lamb, so his mom kindly ground it for us. So you can get lamb roast and then find either a butcher or someone with a food processor to grind it for you. We'll be using either aubergines or known as eggplant. That's going to be the base. We'll use some onions and then red wine for the sauce, Greek yogurt and grana padano. I've got an American grana, which I think is the same. Basically you need a Parmesan type cheese that's been aged at least 10 to 18 months. This one I got from Sprouts. It was a very reasonably priced. You need some fresh oregano, again from Sprouts. And then the key ingredient here is red pesto, which I'm unable to find in the US. So we're gonna do a combination and make our own. So typically red pesto is made with sun-dried tomatoes, parmesan, and either a combination of cashew nuts and pine nuts. So we're gonna make our own. This time I'm actually gonna add in red peppers, a combination of bruschetta, which has already got the tomatoes in it, some sun-dried tomatoes, and some of these, and we'll put in some Parmesan cheese and the pine nuts, as I mentioned before. Also, I found this dip, which is red pepper and quinoa, so we're going to do a combination. We're going to kind of combine all of those to make enough red pepper. And did I mention the wine? Okay, so we'll be starting in a minute.
We got roasted red pepper,
we already put the Parmesan cheese and the pine nuts at the bottom, that's what you can see at the bottom, and the sun-dried tomatoes.
Sun-dried tomatoes, we're gonna just blend it all together.
I would recommend making the combination of the red pepper, sun-dried tomato, Parmesan cheese, and either cashew nuts and pine nuts or just the pine nuts. We're taking the aubergines and we have to cut them into half centimeter thick slices. So reasonably thick, but not too thick. And then we're gonna grill them. So we just have to cut nice, even slices. So we've already sliced up all the aubergines into the half a centimeter slices, so 5 millimeters ideal. And now we're going to lay them on a tray. So cover a tray or rack with tin foil. And then lay out your aubergines side by side as efficiently as you can, because we're making double quantity, so we've got a lot of aubergine to roast, to grill. So lay that on there. So that's pretty jam-packed. And then we're going to drizzle some oil. I'm pretty generous with the oil. So I use this has got a tad of garlic in it, so it's olive oil with just a hint of garlic. You can just use regular olive oil, but you want to use a decent quality of oil because you know you'll be using a lot of it. And then sprinkle some salt. I use Himalayan pink salt, but you can use regular salt. And then some black pepper. And then we're grilling it, so just literally set your grill on broil. That's what you guys call it.
What do you call it in South African?
Grilling it. You just under the grill. Okay, so put that in. Set your timer for like 3 to 4 minutes, and then you just wait. Okay, so we put the onions in first, just to brown them a little bit, and now we're adding the meat.
You added a nice touch to the onions. What was that?
Alright, so we put in some oregano.
And some garlic.
And a little bit of garlic. The recipe doesn't say to use garlic, but you know, who doesn't like garlic?
Yeah.
And now we're going to add in just some of the fresh oregano that we've chopped up earlier into the mince. And we're just going to brown the mince for a few minutes before we're going to add the wine. Now if you don't want to use wine, you can also use lamb stock. So we've added the wine and now we're adding the pesto, which is the red pesto that we made beforehand. We set it aside. So we're doing double quantity, so typically for a single quantity that would be enough, but we made extra, so we're going to add that in. Stir that in and then let that come to the boil. So you'll let it and then simmer. So moussaka is basically like a lasagna, but instead of using pasta, you're using the aubergine as your pasta base. So now we're going to lay this. We're going to create kind of like our pasta base. You don't have to do them like super tight, but, you know, kind of close. Creating a delicious base, and then we're gonna build. I just need to wipe my fingers. Okay, and then we're gonna put the meat sauce. So, like a lasagna, we're gonna layer. I'm gonna get a bigger spoon. We're gonna layer a generous amount of meat sauce. It smells so good. This is gonna be delicious. Okay. Now we're gonna layer another layer. I am actually gonna pack these pretty tight because we seem to have a lot of eggplant. Might as well.
Leave some for me.
Yeah, alas,
I'm just messing.
So we're doing double quantity, so that's why he's saying leave some for him, because we've got a whole other tray to do. I'm just finding like the appropriate pieces to.
Yeah, the best pieces for you. I know.
Okay, we're good on that front.
Okay.
So again, because we're doing double quantity, I'm using a little more than double quantity. So the recipe says I think 200 grams or 200 mils, but I'm using, oh, that's a film. I want that. So I'm using the entire because we've used a little more than double quantity. So I'm using the whole tub, which is 500 grams. So normally I would leave 100 grams out if I was using strict quantities, but like I said, we're using a little more. And so how many eggs does the recipe tell us?
I believe it's 2 eggs.
Okay. So again, because I'm using a little more, double would be 4, so I'm going to use 5 eggs just to offset. I like to get every bit of the egg out.
Yes,
and then I save the eggshells for my garden. It's great nutrients for the plants.
Right there.
And I compost, so all the veggie scraps and the peels will be going into my garden compost. Waste not, want not. 4, 5. I've got all the eggs out. And then it says to add all the cheese but 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to leave a little more. We grated again, we used a little more than double quantity on the cheese, so actually that's too little. Because it's double quantity, so that's for each. A little more. We can always grate some more if we feel we don't have enough. Okay, now we're gonna beat this all together. I'm gonna put it on a low setting at first. Okay, so now that we've got our topping ready, we're going to just divide half, so we're going to pour it on. Make sure that we evenly between our two. And make sure that everyone gets the love.
There you go. That's what you don't waste. So everyone gets the love.
Exactly. You get every bit of the goodness out. So the last thing now, the cheese that we saved, we'll just sprinkle it gently so that we'll get a nice crispy. When we bake this, it'll create a nice like lasagna-y crispy base, crispy topping. Spread it nice and evenly. And there we go, we're done.